Hello, hello. Make sure my mic is working. Working. Alright, cool. Check my filters real quick. Good. I might have to turn on noise suppression later. Alright. Hello. Welcome to Dave's Arcade. I'm Dave. How's everybody doing? New to me game. This is a early Stern Ali. Pretty rare game. These are garbage. Pretty rare game. I think I've only ever played one once before, and it wasn't for very long. It was like at a show, so not enough to really experience it. So technically, I guess I've really never played it to form an opinion. A lot of purple on it. And apparently Ali was the greatest because it tells you all over this game. Picked it up from I call them one-off houses, or it's somebody that's not a pinball collector that happened to have a game, and basically things. This is the same story that I hear over and over again. They bought it, it worked for a while until things break, and then they don't have the tools or the know-how to fix it. In this case, the person lived more rural Illinois, and there's not that many people that know how to repair games. So it sits in his garage for years, not working. Until he decides that he needs the space and he'd rather just move it along and get the space. So I was happy to help him out with that. So anyway, sorry, small town. I guess I didn't know that I was snatching it away from you, but I think he had multiple people contact him, and I think it was sort of luck of the draw that he gravitated towards me to buy it from him. It could have, usually that's how it goes with people that aren't into pinball. They want to try to get the best price. I didn't really haggle with him. It was already a pretty decent deal, so I just gave him what he was asking, and I don't know. I think he was more worried about not everything works. Because it booted up, but it wouldn't start a game. Well, come to find out, the reason that it didn't boot up, I'll show you. Where did I put that? I have it here. So I tried to save it. The thing does work. The reason it didn't boot up is because the MPU was badly acid damaged, and you can kind of see, I cleaned it up as best I could, but so it does work, it does play. It had some issues with, some of the chips were pretty corroded, so I had to take those out, clean them up. So I got everything working on it except two of the switch columns were mimicking each other. So your cabinet switches, but then also your playfield switches, which was a problem because every time you hit the slingshots, it would tilt the game because it's the same switch column. So it would register switch 7 and switch 8, which is the tilt. So you can't play it that way. And so I thought, well, I could continue to try to fix this thing and make it work. But at the end of the day, it's got pretty bad acid damage. And, by the time I, replace a bunch of components and order those, like, how reliable is this thing going to be, years down the road. And the reality is there's aftermarket MPUs available for like $160 from it's like, if you just search NVRAM Weebly, it'll come up. There's a guy in Ohio that sells aftermarket boards, and they're a multi MPU. You just change some dip switches, and heck, you tell him what game you want it for, and he'll set everything up for you. All you have to do is pop it in and go. But if you ever want to move it to another Bally or Stern, you just flick some dip switches for whatever game you want. It's even got like free play and custom ROMs and stuff on there too. So a lot of cool options. And for $160, it's not a bad deal. I get a lot of rectifier boards from them too, which is also what's in the cabinet. So otherwise, I use the existing original lamp boards and solenoid driver boards. Those are, easily repaired. But anyway, so I've kind of gone through, cleaned up the cabinet. I tested everything. I know that it works. I know that I sorted out any wiring issues and things like that. So the playfield and the game works fine. So now it's basically just down to tearing the thing down. I kind of already went through a little bit at the bottom. I rebuilt the flippers. I have the pop bumpers and drop. These are the 2 3-bank drop targets. Those mechs are out already. I ran those through the ultrasonic cleaner. And I just kind of, there isn't a whole lot of mechs on this. You have the saucer mechs here. This is actually just one coil. But this pops all 3 at the same time. And then you have, what's the other ones? You got your slings, and what else? I think that's it. So 1, 2, and then all 3 pops. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10 coils is all it has. So not very many. But Stern was known for doing a cost savings thing. I think Stargazer was like that too. Not very many mechs in it. It was like 3 drop target banks, and then the rest were like all stand-ups. So I'm just going to get right to it. Let me get my basket here. Maybe. So I like to run a ultrasonic cleaner for all my parts. I won't do that. I won't run it while I'm doing the stream, just because it's kind of noisy, and you don't want to listen to that. So plastics, just kind of get those out of the way. I already took one picture of the overall. So if you're, always a good practice, take pictures in layers. So overall picture, so you know where the plastics go. And then once I have all the plastics off, then I take a picture of overall where all the rubbers go, and the posts and everything. I like to put the screws back, so in the playfield rails, those aren't going to affect my buffing and cleaning of the playfield, so I just put those right back in the rails. Same thing with, like I've already dropped the switches. There's like stand-up switches and rollovers and stuff like that. I've already taken those and dropped them so they dangle below the playfield. And what I like to do is I have a small ultrasonic cleaner that's, forget how many, like a 4-quart or 5-quart. It's what I use most of the time because it fits, you know, the majority of your mechs. It won't fit a big drop target mech or a pop bumper mech. I have a bigger one for that, but the reason I really like it is it's fairly lightweight, and you can, with the switches dangling below, I can actually take the ultrasonic cleaner and just clean all those switches as they dangle below the playfield. So that's really convenient. I just got this, finally got an electric screwdriver from Harbor Freight. I splurged and got the Milwaukee knockoff, but I like it a lot. For years I've been doing it just by hand. I tell you, after turning screws over and over and over again with your wrist, that starts to wear on your, start to get like carpal tunnel. So do yourself a favor and get an electric screwdriver if you don't already have one. I should put this on my tool top 10. Well, it's way more than 10 tools that I have. I have a video on that, but so it can be like a gun trigger, or you can turn it and it can be long ways, and then it's also got a little flashlight to it. So pretty neat. I like it. It's really just one speed too, so I actually find that when screwing in, it provides enough torque. Like not so much that it's breaking stuff. So you can always kind of fine tune it if you want things tighter. But for pinball, I think it's great because it actually puts the posts and stuff to the a pretty good torque. Basically, when you're tightening down posts, you want them so they don't spin. Like when you grab a hold of it, twist it around, but not so much that you're like digging into the playfield. So put these screws back. Magnetic tip certainly does help. Oh man, yeah, like all the GI is burnt out on this. So the rectifier board definitely had some hacking on it, which typically they all do. Wires soldered directly to the board. That's indicating that they did not have the proper tools to repin the connectors and fix it. They did the quick fix and just soldered it directly to the board, which is normally what I see. It's been a little bit since I did a tech stream. I've been working on I've been working on several games for other people, but so I keep track of hours for that, and you know they're paying me by the hour, so I want to make sure I'm effectively using my time. towards their project. So if I'm streaming at the same time, it usually takes a little bit more time to explain things, and so I don't want to, not to say I'll never do it that way, but the customers I have were a little bit price sensitive on, they wanted things done quickly, so it's easier to just not stream it. So I did a Close Encounters, that was really just kind of get it working. They didn't even want it cleaned, so got it working. It plays. It's reliable, and that's where they wanted me to stop. So just kind of minimal. I think the objective was to have a workable game, and then they'll clean it up further, and then they can. I think their plan is to turn it around and sell it likely. So, and then the other one was a playfield touch-up repair job for Mark. So I did his wildfire, which I think he'll talk about on his stream. So you'll be able to see the work there. And then, so anyway, I'm to a layer here, so this is where you take a picture. Make sure you get on this particular game. There are two size posts. You have tall posts and short posts, and usually tall posts are what the plastics go on, and so it's always a good idea to take a picture of the side profile so you can see what's short and what's tall when you go back and put this thing together. I mean, this is assuming that the previous person that owned this game put them all in the right spot, which it looks like they did for the most part. I do this. Spin my camera angle. From what I've heard, though, people really like this game. So, I'm excited to play it. Alright. So, I got the ultrasonic cleaner for plastic and metal parts. Now that I have this... Oh, interesting. Stern did a very weird thing on their games. They use these carriage bolts that go straight through the playfield, and it can be a pain in the butt. I've had to replace these before. So instead of having like a T-nut on the bottom and just screwing a thread or a machine screw through it, they have the carriage bolt, and then they use a nut on the top, which it's just more of a pain in the butt. And a lot of times that nut that goes on top, as the ball hits this thing, it vibrates and it kind of chews up the spot where the nut is attached, and it a lot of times it messes up the threads. So just keep that in mind. You might have to go to the hardware store and get even the size isn't perfect. So you could get the same thread, but the length isn't going to be right. So I've had to take a machine screw and like cut it to the length that I need, in order to replace them. So it's doable, just kind of stinks. I need to get multi-purpose screwdriver. So on one side it's 1/4 inch, and then the other is something 32, I think. So that's the size I need for this. Post, post, post. No. And you know what I'll do? Put the do the nuts in there. I suppose you can do it either way. Sorry, just thinking to myself. Thinking out loud. Screws can go in there. I think I'm going to put the nuts and small things in here though. It'll just be easier. It's always a pain if you drop them in the ultrasonic cleaner. But that's kind of the point of this double mesh strainer. Kind of catch everything. Boop, boop, boop. It's got these little lock washers on top of those posts. I'll come back to that. Mini post, mini post. Let's see how fast I can do this here. I'm also taking out the wire guides. Just pull those right up. If they're giving you trouble, if they won't pull up, take a pair of pliers and take the handle end, and you can put it underneath the wire and just kind of pry up on each end. And that's a safe way of pulling this out. Because they actually, Stern doesn't have that, but I know Williams does. They'll have like a spline on the end, and when they pound that in at the factory, that spline like knifes into the wood, and over time the wood, it's wood, it absorbs moisture, and it essentially when you pull out those splines, it can like kind of mess up those holes a bit around it. So it's good to like pull it straight up. But that's a little tip for you. This is also a good place to take note of any of the holes for like posts or lane guides or anything like that. Particularly like you might see posts like mini posts or something when you're shooting up the playfield, like it'll get hit on an end post more than others, and or like an entry to a lane, you're going to hit a post more often than not. And what that's going to do is it could remount that hole. So just take note of which ones those are, and you can go and fix them when you're cleaning, after you're done cleaning the playfield. These are the garbage. I have one over here. Garbage. So what I like to do for the fixing those reamed out holes is I take 2-part epoxy, and you can just mix that up and kind of use a toothpick and kind of drip it into the hole. And you might, once that's cured, then you can take just a drill bit and pre-drill the hole, and that fixes it pretty well. At least that's how I do it. I know another one people like is a little bit of wood glue and a toothpick. That certainly works as well. But the main thing is making it so it takes a screw. You gotta put it back in the same spot. Garbage. Garbage. Another thing that can happen on older games are these lane guides. They have like L brackets. I'll wait till I move that. They have L brackets that screw the bracket to the playfield, and a lot of times those can get broken. So when it comes to that, what I do is I actually weld them. For if you don't have a welder, that's where you might have to get creative with like JB Weld or something to kind of hold that bracket back on. Or I think I showed this before. You can re-rivet. So I think you can buy the L brackets and re-rivet them, but you're gonna have to buy a rivet clamp, some rivets, and then a new bracket. So I mean, if you just have like one or two, I guarantee you go to any welding shop and just say, hey, I got this one, I just need it to be tacked on there quick. I'm sure they could take 5 minutes and make, $20, whatever. It's easy money for them. Jail Bones, thank you for the follow. And S for Mbuka. On a replacement playfield, what bit size do you use for really thin items? Single loose pins and ball guide wires. Okay. Bit size. So yes, to pre-drill them. Let me get my drill bits here. So I got this from Harbor Freight, and I don't think it has them all numbered, right? But what I'll do, so let me pull out, here's a lane guide. This is what I do. I just grab a drill bit and you butt it up to the wire that you're going to be pre-drilling. And so the objective is to get it pretty much right on, or maybe just slightly bigger. So this actually has tons of different levels of sizes. So I highly recommend getting this set. It has so many different smaller bit sizes. But yeah, that's exactly what I do. So, and it happens, like smaller bits, they break easier. So these are cheap. Get yourself a couple sets. It's gonna happen. Probably should have said what that number was, but yeah, that's basically it. Need to. Oh, that was the wrong tool for the job. I need oh, that's a different bit. Never mind. Talking to myself again. Take these off. Garbage. Yeah, no problem. I assume you're doing a playfield swap. Which, yeah, because when you clear a playfield, and honestly, I just use those regular bits. I know that there's like, what is it, Ron Kruzman sells like these special bits or whatever that, you don't need that shit. Just regular old drill bits. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on it. I think his thought is like, that it, because the bits that he was using are like, they like take some of the clear away of where you're pre-drilling, and it makes it so maybe so you don't have a chance of cracking the clear. But through several play fields that I've populated and clear coated myself, I've never had a problem with it. So that's right. This one. I'm actually ahead of the game today. Last night I set up, if you didn't know, I also stream on Buffalo Pinball, and tonight is my night for streaming gameplay at be 7 Central. I'm going to be doing GoldenEye tonight. So I was gonna stream this last night, but it's always like a courteous thing to not stream when like Kevin is streaming. So I listened to their podcast while I was getting ready. It's probably a good thing that I did that, because there's a unique feature on GoldenEye. It was the first it was used, and that is the um, there's a magnet below the flippers that's like a ball save, and it was never seen again until Alice Cooper, which, believe it or not, Charlie at Spooky didn't even know that. He thought he was the first. But it's kind of funny. But anyway, so I guess the reason that was good was because I had some issues with the magnet. I was playing that with Mark last Friday, and it would like grab the ball, and then it's supposed to shoot it up through the flippers and save the ball, put it back into play, but it was like it would just kind of wiggle a bit and then it would just fall down and drain the ball. It's like, it defeats the cool feature. But you can turn it off. I think it's a known problem with that game. So you can just turn off that feature and it'll work. But anyway, I ended up installing a slightly stronger magnet, and it works great now. So I said I'm taking a Paragon apart and got a CPR reproduction, but it's been 110 in the garage, so it's been sitting for a while. Okay. So you got, is that the garage is your workspace, I assume? 110. Man, where the heck do you live? Texas? Ugh, that's gross. I guessed it right. All right, Texas. Yeah, I used to go down there for Dallas, Fort Worth area. It was years ago now, probably close to 10 years ago now. I worked with a food co-packer there for the Knorr brand. They make pasta sides and soups and stuff like that. So but yeah, I was down there in July or something, and it's freaking every single time you walk outside, it's like opening the oven. Oh my god. Crazy. I don't know if there's any way you really get used to that. Alright. I need this. The garage is facing afternoon sun, and when it beats on the garage the whole afternoon, I was regretting it if the garage was my workspace. You're on Cincinnati is 110? Holy moly. I did not realize there was a heat wave going around. Well, I am going to be heading to North Carolina at the end of the month here, so I'm excited for that. Got one of my older brothers lives down there. He's got basically a resort in his backyard. It's a lot of fun. So me and my wife and two dogs will go down, and he's got a in-ground pool and a palm trees and hot tub and I don't know, outdoor speakers that are super nice, like Sonos ones. We just jam to some music and float in the pool, and dogs swim around, drink lots of beer. It's gonna be great. Honestly, one of my favorite vacation destinations, and it's like, other than like traveling there, it's dirt cheap. So, I mean, I imagine it's the same old thing for my brother and his family, but you know, he said probably it's only 100 or so. It feels hotter than outside. You can get close to 90 on sunny days. Oh yeah. After about 30 minutes of that, I'm drenched in sweat. Yes. I don't blame you, man. I have not been outside as much this summer as I would like. I did a trip to Michigan, which we did a lot of outside time, biking stuff. But, you know, working on pinball machines, it's an indoor thing. And so this is pretty much what I do all day, every day. Well, my day job is helping people fix stuff for American Pinball. But, that's a little tight. These wires off. Which during the summer is kind of slow, which is, you know, you got, because it's summertime, you know, people are on vacation, kids are out of school, you know, people don't go in their basements as much. So, which kind of stinks because, you know, it's less hours for me. Well, not kind of, it really does stink, but it's okay. I took on some, Mark hooked me up with some repair jobs for people, and which is good because that's all tax-free cash. The problem is that I need to finish building my rotisserie and stripping the cabinet so I can move inside after repainting it. Since it's all old lead-based paint, obviously I don't want to. Well, no, I don't think it's lead-based paint. Not in the 80s. Not for that. I think you'd be fine on that. I could almost guarantee you that it's not lead-based paint on that cabinet. I mean, you could have it tested if you want to, but I've done several early solid-state cabinets, and they didn't, to my knowledge, didn't do any lead-based paint. So, but yeah, still sanding out in the heat is not going to be fun. Where was I? Oh, mini posts. Oops, wrong one. I got a puppy that's dreaming over here. Let me sneak up on him. sleeping in the chair. There's the bed out. There. Okay. He's making squealy noises. I'm boring. This is a little weird. This has got like these little bitty, I don't know, they're like plastic. I'm not sure what that is. It's almost like shrinky dink, like the post rubber shrunk up. That's really weird. That must be a homeowner thing. Like oh, you know what? I bet you they went to just a hardware store and like those little, like you can get little O-rings in like those bins at like Ace. That's probably what they did. Let me just snip those off. Let's see. Yeah, I think you can get that tested. If you take, I bet you could ask like the Sherwin-Williams store. If you take like a sample of it or something, I bet they might be able to test it. But I've heard of even older ones that like EM's era. I know Nick Shell was like repainting old Chicago or something, and he had it tested and it wasn't. So that was Bally, and he had it tested for lead and it wasn't. It didn't come back as having it. When I need to replace those single pins that I just pulled, what do you think? What do I use for them? Missing a couple. Oh, so these mini posts? Or are you talking about, hang on. It's these ones. These posts, they're just like, they look like nails. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the mini posts? Because these would take a rubber. Because I think what I would do, these are actually like the same wire gauge thickness. So if you really want it to be like exact, or actually similar wire gauge thickness. Honestly, this is about the same as a finish nail, so you could honestly just use a finish nail, because all this thing is doing, it's usually by the slingshots here, and the purpose is so a ball doesn't like, if your slingshots are going back and forth really fast, I feel it's not really necessary, but it's possible that a ball could get stuck underneath the slingshot. It'd be very, very rare that happens. The only time I've ever seen it really happen is on TNA because the slingshots were more active. Yes, they are thicker than the wire, or thinner than the wire guides. Yes. If you want this exact wire stock, if you go to Marco Specialties, and they have like a wire lane guide kit that's gonna sell several different thicknesses of this stuff, and that's exactly what I used for my Stargazer project. Some up here. But yeah, because I had to make I had to make all those wire guides for Stargazer when I did the scratch build. But that size is going to come in that kit. You could also take like a, if you really want to know what it is, you can get a set of calipers from, they're cheap on Amazon. So get a set of digital calipers and you can find out exactly what the gauge of that wire is. It's really weird. They even used them as posts for the in lanes. Just kind of weird. Typically you see like a mini post here, but they use these small ones. So I'm going to have to do a little research. That's probably factory. I wonder why they did that. Just save space? And maybe it was too easy if you had many posts there. I don't know. Can experiment with it. Get all these old bulbs are all burnt out. And when you're, another tip, when you're buffing and polishing the playfield, because I like to take pretty much everything off. You can work around these slingshot kickers, but you know it's still just as easy to take those out. For the flipper mechs, honestly, all you need to do is loosen the screws on the mech plate, and then that'll drop below the playfield, and then you can buff and polish around that spot. I like that method. And then you don't have to like take all the wires and everything off. Alright. Did I get all the posts? Yes. Need this guide. Yeah. Stainless steel. Yeah, that'll work. Welding rod. And that's nice, 'cause then they don't corrode. And that's like, you get that from probably any place, welding shop, or I think the stuff that Marco has is chrome, either chrome or nickel plated. Alright, we got wire guides, not wire guides, lane guides, the flat rail. And this is one, it's typical, if you have a ball that hits these guides, it's typical that it can break at that 90-degree bend. So I think I was talking about that earlier. You should be able to buy new of these angle brackets, but honestly, if it's broke, I usually just weld it. It's easier for me, much faster. to a spot here. So I got some rails that are nailed to the side rails. I'm going to show you how I take those off. Ooh, nice. $10 a pound. That is cheap. Well, compared to buying them from Marco, you're going to spend that for just a few pieces. So. Need to get this wire, big lane wire up. Get it with your fingers here. Yep. There we go. Alright, that's up. Move this stuff. Don't need this anymore. Take my spinner. It's weird that they just put a blank white spinner. I assume that's supposed to be that way. I don't know. I'll put this over on my table. Maybe I can make a cool decal, like a boxing glove or something. All right, I need. So what I use for this? I need like sharper ones. These are the Hako flush cut snips. You can get those off of Amazon. I buy a lot of these, and I use them for circuit board repair, but also they're great for lots of other tasks, including getting these side rails off, because I use these little nails. It's good if you have a nice sharp pair of them. It's not too chewed up. Here's a better one. Okay. So, especially on cabinets, you're talking about your Paragon cabinet. It's got those rounded nail heads on the side rails. And to get those off, you need a pair of these so you can get underneath the head. And for those side rails, it's like a twisted nail. So it's like part nail, part screw. And what you can do is take a little piece of cardboard, grab just a little piece from the scrap box here. Okay. And hopefully you can see this okay. A little closer. That's probably good. Okay. So the nail's right here. So really you're just getting the flush cut snips underneath the nail and pull that nail straight out. Just like that. I got another one right here. And now for the side rails on an older game, it's going to be the same for stern too. They did it the same way. I think Gottlieb even did it the same way. So these are just straight little finish nails. But on the cabinets, like I said, they're kind of part screw, so you have to like twist. That's why I said this needs to be smooth. And you take your piece of cardboard and you can kind of get underneath the head, and then you pinch and like turn and pry, kind of do that action, and that'll get those side rails off. Alright, that's one. We got few more nails over here. Let's see. You gotta go back to work. No worries. Thanks for answering all the stupid questions. No, for sure. I used band pliers for them, and unfortunately half of them broke below the surface. I have to drill them out. Oof. Yeah, that's probably because you need the twist portion of it, like I was talking. So you grab a hold of it, and you kind of pry and lefty loosey turn it out. That's how you get those. I have yet to break one off doing that method. So hopefully that's good. Okay. But when I go to put to reinstall those, I don't really want to install those nails again, because a lot of times they're rusty. I honestly just go to the hardware store and get like some Colin Zito Biz. Thank you for the follow. How you doing? So I actually just go to the hardware store and get something like a rounded head of just Phillips screw pan head, about the same depth of threads, and I like that better. So to each his own. If you want to keep it all original, I think you can buy those somewhere. I haven't really looked, but I prefer to just use Phillips screws because looks about the same and nobody really even notices once it's done. Just fine detail. Yep, can't recommend these snips enough. Hakko flush cut snips. I would say get at least a couple pairs. Keep them on my side. I have a couple on my soldering desk and a couple in my tool bag. Alright, there we go. Those are done. Put these on the cleaning table for ultrasonic and polish later. Alright, so now I'm down to I have to go get. Do I still have my hammer down here? Go look. I gotta pound those carriage bolts out. I might have to run upstairs and grab it. Well, in the meantime, let me. I don't need these anymore. Clear my workstation. I need to take the apron off. Whoa, that guy's broken. The bulb popped right out. Huh. It's like the flex bulb. It's another one. There we go. Ugh, crusty. Another tip, and I won't do this now, probably towards the end, but I talk about it quite a bit. There's a Dremel 443 bit that I use all the time, and a cheap rotary tool that I got from Harbor Freight for like $10. It's a real small handheld, like even smaller than this screwdriver, but Dremel 443. It is a cleaning / polishing carbon steel brush, and I use this for everything for EMs, but it's great for cleaning out the lamp sockets because they get this white, corroded, nasty crud on the inside that you just kind of zip them around in there, and then you can take your air gun and blast out any of the crud. So, but I typically wait until the end anyway, because when you're buffing and polishing, you might get some, or you will get some wax and stuff in there. Rubbing compound. Alright, apron's coming off. Just set this off to the side. So I'm gonna get polished anyway. Take these pieces over here. I think these have a nut on the bottom. Yes, they do. Oh, I removed a layer, so that means it's picture time. They actually installed this wrong. And it's missing a... Huh, look at that. It's totally missing a screw. And it's flopping all over the place. Awesome. I've put these together several times, so I don't really need a picture, but... Oops. These off. Triple crown. It's really not a ton of wear. It's got from the kick out up top and between the pops that I gotta do. And then other than that, I mean, it's pretty much solid colors. purple, black, orange, yellow. Inevitably I end up, well, I'm going to need to do this light blue, red. I got to repaint special SP. So that's probably the most detail work I'm going to have to do. But I'll make it look like brand new again. I'll touch up all the inserts. That's pretty much every old game you get, you're going to have to do the inserts. And I think I've talked about this before. Even if you just did that alone, that goes quite a long ways in making your game look nice. But it takes time and patience to get those circles right. But I will go through that as I touch this thing up. Oh, look, a broken weld. Something for me to weld. Look at that. That happens quite a bit. This guide here, the ball comes down and it smashes into here. So, fun. But that gives me the opportunity to weld on the back side and, like, you know, reinforce that 90-degree bend. So that will never happen again. And again, if you don't have a welder, I'm sure you can take it to a local welding shop and have them re-weld that piece. Ugh, I think it's gross. Now this coil is actually supposed to be bent that way. So, I mean, I think it works that way, but I don't think you're supposed to do it that way. Okay. Let's go to the table. These get pulled through. Oh, I know what I did. I already loosened those screws from before. Underneath. There's that. Man, this metal is pretty gross. All that freaking nasty corrosion. So, with this, I'll show you the metal polish. Actually, I just got a new kind I'm going to try out. See, this is the piece I'll have to re-weld. So, that'll be easy. 90-degree weld. is that? Here we go. So, I think the label has changed recently. It's to like extreme or something, but it's Meguiar's all metal polish, and I really like this stuff. It's basically like a paste, or like a hard paste, and I take some steel wool and this, and for like metal parts like that, it cleans up super nice. But for like small screws and bolts and stuff like that, I have a rock tumbler. Again, Harbor Freight, and that works really well. You can get some walnut media, and honestly, I've heard people use flits in that. I have yet to try that. Honestly, I think just a squirt of some WD-40 in with the walnut media and tumble your screws works really well. The only disadvantage to that is you got to take a dental pick and you got to get the walnut media out of the screw heads. So, a little bit of tedious work there. But it's not terrible. Get this post off. That's right. Alright, I gotta go grab a hammer real quick. Clear this. This can get out of the way. Move this. This can go over here. Alright, I'm going to put you on the waiting screen just for a few minutes while I run up and grab a hammer, so enjoy some 80s music. Alright, I'm back. We'll try the dead blow hammer to start. Jack Daniels, what's going on, man? Thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. How's life treating you? sometimes these things are covered by something, so just make sure the path is clear before you start going crazy. Sometimes the mech might be in the way. Oh, I should probably turn on the noise suppression. Sorry about that. Bum, bum, bum. Filters. Noise suppression. That should work. So that way, when it shouldn't get any louder than that. Hopefully that works. Let me know. There's one other selection that I can pick. So check underneath here. If that's too loud, please let me know. I want to do better. I think, is that all? Nope, I got one more over here. Appears to be clear. Alright. Technically this is one too. This always puzzles me. Why is this piece even here? It's on all early sterns. I don't know. So the ball goes around it. I guess I don't quite understand what this thing's purpose is. If anybody knows, please let me know. I assume it's probably like there's a gap here in the apron, and so the ball doesn't like sit right here. They already had the aprons made. I don't know. But the other reason I ask about the noise suppression thing is I'm gonna be using a high-speed buffer here for the polishing portion once I get to that. And I don't want that to hurt your ears. It said everything's good. Happy I could catch this bit of the stream. I like the sound. Feels like telling your girlfriend you bought a new pin. Yes. Well. No. Well, my wife knows about this game. She knows it. I don't keep any secrets. She is well aware of my pinball obsession. What about you? Any new games on the horizon? Well, that's the flipper paw that just fell. Crank. Oh, this one's bent a bit. Dang it. I'm just unscrewing these is one carriage bolt by hand. Ugh. So it's bent just a little bit. More than, well, a little more than a little bit. Those out of there. Put one here. And 3 more on this side. One. 2. No, is it 4? So one right here. No, okay, that's all of them. And it's been good to work on some of my own stuff. I've been working on other people's projects kind of in between. So, but that's good. Make a little extra money here and there. Never hurts. But I need to get more diligent about pulling games out of the project pile and working on them. Bored Dog, what's going on, man? Let's see. Got myself. Oh, you got an avatar. And next to Black Knight Sword of Rage Premium. Oh, I got the cool topper. Awesome. Well, Jack Daniels, I actually have I have been working with Dennis on not the next game that he's releasing, or not the next game that AP is releasing. So it's not this coming one, but it'll be his next design game. And so I've been helping out with populating the whitewood on that. And I guess I'm biased on it, but it's gonna be freaking awesome. It's been a lot of fun working with him, and I think he really likes working with me, because he's liked quite a few of the ideas, and we've like implemented some of those. So it'll be cool to see how the thing materializes, but it's gonna be the craziest game that he's ever designed to date. At least that's what he's said. Those are his words. So really cool. I'm excited. You should be excited too. So, but it'll be a little while till that's ready. Alright, what else I gotta do? I'm pretty much on to the cleaning portion. I think I can get by with not removing those slingshot kickers. Alright, let's do it. I got a couple of rags here. Let's do the quick cleaning. Where is my crud cutter? See, I misplaced stuff. Oh, I'm good. I always just do a quick overall cleaning. Yes, I know people say, oh, water-based. No. Just real quick. This is just a quick wipe down, get the gunk off. Multi-purpose cleaner. Not gonna hurt anything especially since you just wipe it off quick. I'm not putting standing water on this thing. Look at that, it's already looking great. This thing is filthy. Yes, so I mean, that's partially one of the reasons that I'm helping him out with it, because I'm pretty good at visualizing and sharing what his vision is, and being able to, you know, cut side rails and guides and things that he needs to get done. And I know how to use the tools and equipment. I took my welder down there last week, weld up a wire form ramp, because they don't have a welder. And just like, you know, he said more has gotten done in the 2 days that I've helped him than has been done in the last month. So, but it's because the resources are working on his, you know, game that's going to be released next. So they're doing more, you know, finishing up anything on the playfield and you know, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of more all hands on deck for that. But, okay, quick clean is done. You can put away the water-based all-purpose cleaner. We don't need to talk about it again. All right, next. So you can go and get these at the Walmart has a generic version of the Mr. Clean magic eraser. I need scissors here. I always cut it in half. Usually takes me about 2 halves to do a playfield. Oh, should I? It's risky business taking out those star rollovers. Can't be. You know, maybe I'll leave it for now, and then I'll take it out at the end, because then I can run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. That's what I'll do. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I think probably more ramps than any game that I've ever seen. I think any game ever. So, at least to my knowledge. But, we'll see as things progress and transform, like, you got to see what works. And so this week, we should have a flippable whitewood. I'm going down on Thursday. You should have a flippable whitewood to start looking at how the geometry works for the shots, do some tweaking. So that's pretty much how the development goes. He's got a drawing, and basically let me get another rag here. Basically how he does it is he's already made like his foam core model and kind of, get the, roll with the foam core model. You can roll the ball around and kind of see what the geometry looks like, and it's really easy to kind of move the, stuff around and get that right by hand, and then kind of translate. Okay, put that into CAD of, here's where all of your lane guides and everything is supposed to go. And then from his CAD drawing, he literally you print out in 1-to-1 scale of what, like, all those places where those guides are supposed to be. And then you print it out on a piece of paper, and then you spray adhesive the blank piece of wood, playfield, and you paste the thing down, and then you have a guide of where you want everything to go, and it matches with the CAD, and then you just start drilling and putting the guides where you need them to go. But I mean, none of the guides exist, like that specific size. You have to cut and spot weld like each and every piece. You can't just, there's nothing to grab off of a shelf necessarily. So you put that stuff together, and so it's a little bit of a slow going process, but little by little the game gets built up, and then you can start to look at, okay, as it materializes, and you start, especially like cool stuff starts to happen once you get it flippable. You can start shooting those shots over and over again, and they need to feel nice, and then you can kind of, okay, maybe we need to open this up a little bit more, move this around, and start having those discussions. And from there you already have the drawing that you started with initially, that you pasted down on the playfield. Then you take you make your tweaks. Okay, this is going to go over, a 1/4 inch here, 1/16 of an inch there. And then, as you make your tweaks and you've kind of beat up that whitewood, made all your tweaks on it, then you go and you do another round of that again, and you cut, you would actually cut, CNC cut all of those things that you had before, and then you can take your parts and like either transfer them over or kind of make new. Same time you could be having working with engineering where they're making drawings of like, okay, this is set, this is what's going to go here, and so they start making drawings of those lane guides and different stuff that you're like finalizing as you go. So really neat process. So by the end of it, you end up with like, maybe 3-4 different whitewood variations. So like as you make improvements on the layout as it goes along. So Let's see, board dog. I always just cut off the nib off the star rollovers and put new ones in. Ah, you know, that is a good tip. Because I can't tell you how many times I broke off those damn like fingers on the underside of that insert because they get brittle. So very good tip, board dog. I have to look around and see if I have more of these. I think I do. In which case I got 4. Yeah, 4 on here. So let me see what I got. I'm gonna just leave it for now. That's a very good tip. He's got lots of ball swirl in his face. This isn't abrasive. You don't want to go too crazy. You do have to get it clean. That's coming up. And I'll go back through with that's why I cut them in half. The first one gets pretty dang dirty. Inevitably, you're gonna have some ball swirl that you can't get out. It's just how it goes. I'd rather not go crazy with the magic eraser because you can go too far and start taking off some of the art. So you can end up with more touch-ups than you were planning to do. I feel like these playfields are fairly forgiving. I've had some System 11 ones that weren't the diamond coat that work. And I think that's why they put, a lot of times they had Mylar on them. But I feel like you can absolutely go a little overboard with that. Because I've done it before. And then I ended up doing more touch-ups than I was planning to do. I always follow it up with a rag. Just because it'll leave like this white kind of residue. If you don't, keep your work area clean. Yeah, Buffalo stream tonight, doing some GoldenEye, and I won't be doing Dave's Arcade gameplay on Friday because I am going to be camping northern Illinois campground, someplace by the lake. I don't know. Lindsay set it up. So, no Friday stream this week. ball squirrel always shows up more in the lighter colors, yellows and whites, light blue. I'll hit this more with the other pad once I do the first pass here. This one's just about had it. Now, I appreciate that they didn't try to touch up. I've seen that before. Like, I'd rather have no touch-ups than bad touch-ups. Because, like, I've seen it where they just take a marker or something and just not even try. Sometimes they just take a black marker and just color it in. It's like, well, you know, it's kind of close to purple. Well, at that point, just don't bother. Just leave it. Wax it and play it. Something gross in the corner. Not sure what that is. Nasty ball trail. It's like the ball had some kind of gunk on it. But I suppose it goes along that path over and over and over again. Could be worse. The ball that I took out of here was like super rusty. So, not surprised. But it could have just, like I said, I think it was, this game was sitting dead for probably like 10 years. So, that, I think, saved it. Maybe that rusty ball in there has been just sitting and corroding over the last 10 years, which is great. But it was not working, because if they were playing with that rusty ball, this playfield would be way worse. All right. I would say that thing's had it. Next. Do you feel like older playfields are better than new ones? In what, like as far as reproduction playfields? So I guess I'll interpret that as like the wood quality. So original playfields, definitely the wood quality, I would say, is better. Just because, you know, they're using older wood, and the density is there, as compared to stuff that's available today. So even though they can mimic the art, you can only use what wood is available. So, man, this shooter layer is going to clean up so nice. Hell yeah. not chewed up. So in that respect, the older ones are better. As far as let me think. And then I think after that, I mean, reproduction playfields, I mean, they're still very good. They work the way that they're supposed to. But I would say the you know, as long as they get the art right. The one thing I don't like about new playfields, especially direct printed, or I mean, yeah, digitally printed playfields. The reason I don't like those is because if you ever get playfield wear on it, they are going to be next to impossible to touch up because they're using a printer works in dots, right, to make a color. So if you look at it under a microscope or a magnifying glass, you're going to see dots of several different colors to make up, say, a black, versus the older screen printed versions, it's a single color and you can match that single color. So alternative, or but newer playfields are also they're clear coated better than the old ones, so you shouldn't get the wear and tear like old ones did, and there should be plenty of clear coat on it to make them survive for years to come, probably longer than your lifetime. So I don't think it's gonna come into play, but that is one thing that I don't like so much about newer playfields is the digital print, and not having solid colors. Because I mean, heck, on brand new games, that's how it's done, and every once in a while it does happen. Like you get some. I've had a friend show me his Jurassic Park recently, and there was a post by that car that spins back and forth, and like the post got bashed so much because they used number 6 posts, and they're much thinner than we use number 8 at American, and it gets bashed so much, and it reamed out that hole, and now he's got to touch up that spot, but it's digitally printed, so it's not going to look as nice. Granted, it's a small spot, so I mean, still, that's an example. I will say that newer games are they're easier to do a playfield swap on. That's for sure. Compared to older ones with all the ground braid and stuff stapled to it. So it's pros and cons. Pros and cons. It certainly is. I mean, when you do digitally printed, pro with that is it's basically one shot. You just print it all at once in the different layers of colors, right? But it's playfield stays in one spot versus screen printing process is you do a layer of white, and then you do your color layers, and then you clear coat it. Well, it's moving to different stations for those screens each time, and if the screen isn't placed perfectly, then that's where you get registration issues. And I'm sure you see, like, especially in older games, where like it's noticeable on inserts. They're not always centered on the insert, and that's registration. So with digital, you shouldn't have that problem. Shouldn't, but just because you're not picking up and moving the playfield to another station, and I just know from like screen printing every single time the thing is touched and handled. That's another opportunity for something to get either scratched or damaged. It's like if you cut down on the amount of touch points, you're going to decrease your scrap amount. I know that from back when I used to do reproduction aprons, because you do the metal bending and then you powder coat it, and then you had a couple of screen printed colors, but each time it was handled, there's adds to the scrap. Like somebody dropped an apron or two, scratched a few, and you go to screen a color, like, oh, this one's off center, this one's got a smudge, and those are all garbage. So it can be expensive each time you touch them. Uppercut. Getting there. Sounds like Lindsay's home. It was the little dog. Oh, thanks, Jack Daniels. You'll see as soon as I break out the high-speed buffer here, it'll start to come together. Everything's it's all dull right now. But it's a heck of a lot better than it was. Ooh. A lot of ball swirl in these lighter colors. Do the best I can. Try not to go too much, but you gotta scrub it. It's coming out. Whew. A little bit more on his head here. Let's see. Board dogs. So recently played one, next level outside of Portland. When picking up Cactus Canyon Remake. Awesome. Yeah, fun game. Added stuff to the finish. Original code is good. Big color display. Looking forward to the new code package for it someday. Yeah. My friend Jeremy at Pinball Mayhem. So he's Pinball Mayhem Jeremy on Twitch. Want to give him a follow. He's been streaming a lot of his Cactus Canyon. And if you want to check out Pinball Mayhem on YouTube, he's got some nice videos on some of the improvements that he's done. Yeah, there's something going on with their legs where it's like over crimped was one of them, and then another was he was just installing some Titan rubbers. But he's got several gameplay videos in there. Yeah, it looks like a super fun game. I really like it. It's a very pretty looking game for sure. I wish they would do. I'd love to see a Tales of the Arabian Nights done. That would be fun. Maybe someday they will. But Cactus Canyon is pretty cool. Can't wait to try out the new code. I think when that comes out, those games will probably skyrocket in value, because I'm sure everybody will love it. But personally, I think announcing that was a very smart marketing move, because you look at the game, and if they were just going to release it as is, without doing, everybody knows that the code wasn't finished. If they were to just release it as is, it wouldn't be as attractive as saying, hey, we're going to finish the code, the original code, and by the way, we're going to make an alternate version with more depth to it. So I think that was a really smart marketing move. I think Josh Sharp talked about that on a podcast too. Or maybe, I'm pretty sure he did. We talked about, the game as is it only had so much depth, and so you also had that's just how they were made then. But the market of the buyers today have changed, And so, yes, it's a rare game, but selling it based upon rarity alone isn't going to do it. You need to have a little bit more pizzazz. So, oh, and of course the topper helped. Did you get your topper board, dog? I know that they had like a shortage of them. I think Jeremy was waiting on his topper. Something like they're missing parts to make them all, and I don't know. So they gotta send them out later, and then there are people that install them. That kind of stinks. Maybe it was only like the first, if you got like the LEs or something, or the whatever they're calling it, their upper tier model. I'm definitely jealous of the people that can get brand new games. It's not something that I can jump into all the time. Maybe once every couple of years. Something I'll have to save up for, you know. Or I need to sell other games in order to make the funds, which is doable. Should probably do that. There's been games on my wish list, newer games that I've had some games in my collection for a long time, and so maybe it's an opportunity to shake things up, get something new. They have not shipped toppers yet. I did buy the version with the topper, and they are not shipping any of the LE or SE Plus toppers yet. I've only bought 2 new in box, Cactus Canyon and TNA. Ooh, and P3 is on the way. Awesome. Well, I think Ryan will be happy to hear that. Well, I think he knows that. You do some virtual pinball programming, correct? So, I think, is that the motive? Are you gonna make some stuff for the P3 platform? That would be cool. You know, I do have a virtual pinball. I need to fire that thing up, and I need to learn how to put some new tables on it. I think virtual pinball people call them tables. So I need to do that. Maybe I'll talk to Marty at Game Club Central. See if he can help me. Because I just bought the thing and it had a bunch of games on it already. But I want to add some different stuff. Ugh, this thing is gross here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. Mm-hmm. So this is you sold your second house and set aside some pinball monies. Second house? Did you have like a rental house or like a vacation home? I know people that do that. They have a rental houses their whole life, and then when they get to, well, at least people that I've talked to, they retired from work, and then they had like 3-4 different rental houses that they were, managing. And then when they get to retirement, they sell the houses that are already all paid off, and then that's part of their retirement money. That's not a bad investment. All right, should I call it good? I think I could probably go a little bit harder on his face, but had a cabin in the mountains. Oh wow, you built it 14 years ago. Well, that's got to be hard to let go. Well, I'm happy for you, board dog. Probably, if you're not using it, might as well cash in, right? Get my head out of the way. Crap. I'm going to cut a new one and do just a little bit more on his face. Just a little bit. Then I can do the buffing. Probably get between the flippers here too. No, maybe not. I'll just leave it. I think I'm gonna go too crazy. I'll have to repaint his whole face. Stupak 62. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Might as well. Try to make Ali look as good as he can. Let everybody know he's the greatest. better. Much better. Okay. I need to do the ring down here. A little bit more. Designed by Harry Williams. Written on the playfield there. That's pretty cool. I did, Flight 2000 was his. A few, this is like an earlier MPU 200 game. So it had 6-digit displays. Whew. Alright, that's probably as crazy as I want to get on it. Oh, for sure, board dog. Well, that's good. You can always spend money on other things that you want in retirement. Like I said, got some pin money. Alright. I think I'll call it good. If I find a spot as I am polishing, I can always go back and hit it again. Oof. Work up a sweat, yeah. Really trying to scrub that stuff. Okay. So, I've recently started using this stuff. Chemical Guys V32 Extreme Compound. And I'm liking it quite a bit. There is definitely some science behind this because I have used this stuff, which you can get anywhere. McGuire's Diamond Cut Compound. This will tend to cake up on your pad more often. And so I find that it's works pretty well, this new stuff, because trying to find a good pad here. Yeah, I'll do this one. Tripping on cords over here. The reason I like this stuff is because it doesn't dry up. It gives you more working time on the surface, and it seems to dissipate heat easier. So, which is a good thing because you want the pad and the compound to kind of work together. And when compound gums up on your pad, it actually can just make buffing that much harder, and it's like it will kind of solidify on the surface, and then you're not actually buffing that spot because it just put gunk all over it. So that was a common problem I had with the old stuff, and it would just make my life a little harder. Actually, this pad is too wide. Let's do this one. Okay. So I do have the good stuff. Workout is done. Oh yes, yes, for the scrubbing portion. All right. I should be able to get through. Oh yeah. So usually what I do is I work in a small section, and then I kind of square it off as I go. And then you kind of just draw an imaginary center line down the playfield, and so I'll do, as I go, each section. You don't need a whole lot of this stuff to start. Not that much. I do have noise suppression on, so please let me know how this sounds as the noise goes on. I can always adjust it. So I'll do this square, and then if you can give me some feedback, that would be awesome. How was that? Should I do a little tweaking on my noise suppression? The other thing I like about this, and this comes into play, this doesn't have waxes in it. So, let's see. Don't think so. Eliminate imperfection. Anyway, because I do this first, so this gets like all of my colors and everything back, and then my next step is to do the touch-ups. So you don't want to put wax on your playfield where you're going to be touching it up. So I already went through and cleaned it with alcohol and the magic eraser, so that gets off any old wax and gunk. What's it called? It's called Chemical Brothers V32. I got it off of Amazon. Or Chemical Guys V32. Extreme Compound. But yeah, I really like it. It's a little bit on the pricey end, but it works well. So is the when it's going, does that sound okay? It's not like blasting your ears out. There's one other setting that I can try as well. It's right here. Noise suppression. There we go. All right, you can do that one. That should cut out everything when I start this up. And I should have my sound back. Yeah. So it does, it cuts it out all the way when as soon as I start up the buffer. That should be back again. Hmm. Well, I don't know if you like it dead silent or not when I'm buffing, but. Oh, okay. Cool. No, I'll just leave it then. The sound. Yeah, it's getting there. Mm. It will get even more shiny when the wax portion comes. So this piece um, allows me to see, like, really brings out the colors the best. And then when I go to match the color for touch-ups, then it's basically I can just start painting right away. So, and I will show that probably on the next stream. Well, when I'm working on this anyway. A little more than halfway done. All right. Let me get this upper section here. That's what I want. Squeaky clean. Ugh, that hurts. Holding that position. This flipping podcast, what's going on? Have you Tommy, have you played this game before? I've only played it like once at a show, and just I haven't really, not enough to really tell you if it's fantastic or not. I just kind of flipped the ball around and didn't really understand the rules. So I'll find out soon enough. You've owned it 3 times? Oh my God. That's crazy. It isn't great, but you love the theme. Okay. Well, I guess I'll, you know, I mean, the rules look cool, the shots look fun, but oh, you have to rotate them out. Bonus collect, exploit on the right saucer, very fun to shoot very fast. Oh yeah, over here. Yeah, that's basically what it looked like. You build up the bonus, collect the bonus. Um, very, very much drop targets, heavy kind of game. But, Tommy, how isn't it great? It says right here on the playfield, the greatest, right there. So, how can this game be anything other than the greatest? All right, I need to go work this section down, and then I'll be pretty well set. Just got this bottom left corner here. And then this thing is ready for some touch-up. All right. Well, that is a heck of a lot of progress for the day. Well, what do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? I think I'll let that mellow for a bit. Yeah. I'll look at it. I think, basically got some, I mean, so I think on the next, before the next stream will be touch-ups. So before I get to that portion, what I'll be doing, I always do this at the start of any touch-up job. I just take some regular old white acrylic paint, thin this out pretty thin, to maybe a little bit, something like heavy whipping cream consistency, and you're gonna basically any of the spots that are bare wood, I'm gonna go through, and this is basically acts as like a primer, because I think the base coat of the screen printed inks is all white, and so if I was to paint purple on top of the bare wood, it's going to turn out darker than what it should be. So that's why I do this. So I'm gonna go through and do that prior to the next stream. So I'm ready for color matching and touch up to show you that. So Anyway. So I think with that, I'm going to end the stream. Um, Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you for the follows, the bits, the subs, all of that. It means a lot. And most of all, it means the most to me that you interact and just ask me questions. I'm happy to share my knowledge with you. Um, it makes the time go by. I'm doing this stuff anyway, so we might as well hang out with you guys and um, talk about the thing we love and pinball. So I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of '80s music and see if I can find someone to raid. But with that, I will catch you next time.